Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Deliverability Dialogues. We've taken a stack of sources, all focused on high volume sending, to tackle a really persistent problem. Why do these massive campaigns, even from professional platforms like, say, Constant Contact, still end up dead in the water in the spam folder? Our deep dive today is all about giving you the professional level insights you need for maximum inbox placement.
And we really have to start with the sheer scope of the problem. I mean, the numbers are pretty stunning. The reports we looked at found that 17.19% of marketing emails were just outright flagged as spam.
17%, that's already huge.
It is. But we're still another 4.4 euro print were just lost. They didn't hit any folder at all.
Wow.
So you do the math, that's over 1/5, 21.59% of your outreach that just isn't landing. For a high-volume sender, that's money evaporating.
Okay, let's unpack this. The sources draw a very, very sharp line on sender reputation, and there's
Yeah.
one key metric that stood out. Complaints above 0.2% are a huge trigger for ISP filters. That is a tiny margin for error.
It's incredibly small. And the fixes here demand really intense technical hygiene. First, IP warming is just non-negotiable. You can't just go from 0 to 1,000,000 sends overnight. But the bigger issue, really, is list cleanliness. You have to aggressively keep the list tidy.
Meaning you're getting rid of the inactive and invalid addresses.
Exactly. And most critically, you have to find and delete the addresses that trigger spam traps.
Okay, let's pause there for a second. For anyone who isn't deep in the weeds on this, what exactly is a spam trap? And why is hitting one so toxic?
So a spam trap is basically a honeypot. It's an email address that was either never used by a real person or it was deliberately abandoned. When you send an email to one, it's a signal to the ISP that you're probably scraping lists or using old bad data.
Regardless of your actual intent.
Right, your intent doesn't matter. Hit enough of them and you'll get blacklisted. And the advice then is pretty clear. You either need a dedicated IP for isolation or you have to do the work. Go to the blacklist databases, find the root cause, which is always the list quality, and get delisted.
So this all sits on top of your technical foundation, your email infrastructure. That's the invisible system of mail agents, feedback loops, all of it.
And the fix for the foundation is, well, it's pretty universal now. It's the authentication trifecta, SPF, DKIMR, and DMRC.
Right.
These are how ISPs verify you're legitimate. But for professionals, just having DMRC isn't enough. The key is DRC policy enforcement. Setting your policy to P-reject or P-quarantine. That tells every ISP you are serious. It says, if this email doesn't authenticate, kill it. It's a massive credibility boost.
All right, moving on from the back end to the message itself, content filters are getting so much smarter. They're not just blocking spam words anymore. They analyze context, and tone. The sources used a great example with the word free.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Using free is fine, but combine it with something like free housing or just repeat it over and over in this desperate tone, and the filters will catch it.
And connecting that to the technical side, you get what we call the open URL trap. You absolutely need to avoid embedding raw links like coolcafe-example.com directly in the email.
Why is that? What does the filter see there?
It looks suspicious. It lacks the tracking and security wrapping that a legitimate email service provider would apply, so it kind of looks like malware.
Oh, and if you are still using generic URL shorteners like bit.ly, just stop. They're huge red flags.
We also have to talk about user experience. Bad design, especially when it looks terrible on a phone, just makes people frustrated, and frustrated people hit the spam button.
Absolutely.
But the most critical fix here is the unsubscription process. The sources were unanimous. It must be a one-click option.
No forms, no logins.
Right. Make someone hunt for the link, and they'll just report you as spam instead. It's a death blow for your reputation. And that's really the point. The ultimate fix for negative engagement like deletions and low open rates is to actively create positive signals. ISPs track opens, clicks, even replies, and starring emails. So you use re-engagement campaigns to prune the dead weight and focus on the people who actually want your mail. You're teaching the ISP that your messages are welcome. Which I think brings us to a final thought for you, the learner, to consider. We've talked a lot about technical fixes and hygiene, but think about this. How can you ensure every single subject line fulfills a clear promise? We know that nearly a third of people open an email based on the subject line alone. Setting that expectation and then actually fulfilling it, that's the key to the long-term credibility that keeps you out of the spam folder for good. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, happy inbox allying.